bringing back Broly and stuff, and how it's not really a good show anymore. Did you ever watch Dragon Ball GT? Did you like it? I know it's not canon, but did you still like it?
Did I like Dragon Ball GT? Oh no. There were two reasons. The minor reason is, right at the start of that show, they made Goku a kid again. Now, we talked about this on the last one. That podcast, my problem with Goku, great character for nostalgia, but I'm just fucking over him, bro. And it probably started with DC when I watched that shit. I was like, they started off the season with him turning into a kid again. I was like, really? This is just another excuse to write another arc for fucking Goku and throw all the other characters aside. So I was already upset that they turned him into a kid again. But what really upset me, and this is probably gonna sound petty as hell, I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but this is the reason I hated Dragon Ball GT. I don't remember which episode it was, but it was some episode where a lot of the villains got resurrected from hell and they came back to Earth. And what a lot of the villains decided to do is they decided to go and attack different cities because they're villains and I guess they didn't improve their behavior. And there's a certain scene where Vegeta runs into Nappa. Nappa came back from hell. We have not seen Nappa since the Sand Saga. That's damn near Dragon Ball. Like that was... It's been a long ass time, man. So the reason I hated this scene is I felt like whoever was working on GT missed an opportunity to show how much character development Vegeta has had in this series. Nappa comes back, he's blowing up the town, he's laughing, ha 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 ha. Doesn't even really give him any fucking dialogue. He's just like, die, die, everybody. Vegeta shows up with his fucking porn mustache. I don't know if y'all remember. Remember that when they gave him mustaches and shit. And Vegeta was just like, you haven't changed. And then he fucking kills him. What? We have not seen Nappa since the Saiyan Saga. Think about all the fucking Nappa theories that have come out. What would Nappa look like if he was a fucking Super Saiyan? And like, does he have hair? Does his pubes be turned yellow? Like, what happens to Nappa? He was a character that wasn't a main character, but some people loved him. We finally get to see Nappa, and they missed the opportunity. I felt like what they should have did here was when Vegeta found Nappa doing evil shit, he should have yelled at him and be like, hey Nappa, I see you haven't changed. This is how much I've changed, blah, blah, blah. I love my family. I'm here to defend the earth, and you need to develop as a human, blah, blah. He could have been, this is a moment for Vegeta to basically sun Nappa and explain to him why his ways were wrong, and maybe even convert him. It could have been a very good conversation, because if you know the lore of Dragon Ball, Nappa was with Vegeta when he was a little kid. He practically raised him. He was like his bodyguard at one point, and he trained with him, and then they went to Earth and tried to kill all the shit. So they have a history together. They've known each other since Planet Vegeta. And when he gets to fucking Nappa, he doesn't give him a father-son talk. It wasn't no type of... This was a chance for them to do a tear-jerker moment, bruh. And this motherfucker Vegeta says, die, bitch. And he fucking key blasts him, and then we never saw Nappa again. I was like, this show sucks. I'm not saying like I was trying to cry, but like Vegeta, one thing that people always say about Dragon Ball Z is Vegeta, and I would probably also argue Piccolo. Vegeta and Piccolo are like the only two characters that have any type of character development. Other than that, I mean, Krillin fucked a robot. I mean, if fucking robot pussy is character development to you, then I guess you could throw Krillin in there. But fucking Tien, he became a bitch. Fucking Yamcha, he's been a bitch. I mean, Bulma was always the same, just a smart person. Krillin started fucking androids. He started fucking Samsung Galaxy S9s and shit. But like, I would argue Vegeta and Piccolo and Goku's just always been a fucking idiot. Like, and Gohan, don't even get me started on Gohan, he's just a bitch. But yeah, like, Vegeta's one of the only characters in the show that had real character development. We watched him go from a villain to a father that cared about his family, there to defend the Earth, chasing his goddamn dreams and shit. But they dropped the ball on that. They just killed Nappa again, and I'm just like, bruh, this show. You know that SpongeBob meme? Oh, brother, this guy stinks! Oh, brother, you stink! That's just what I thought. Like, this shit sucks, bruh. This shit sucks. But moving on, that's all I got for anime. Moving on to the life section. Once again, when we get to this part of this show, I would just like to say, these are my opinions. These are not facts. You're asking questions and I'm answering them. Take everything I say with a grain of salt because I'm not God. I'm not one of those people, okay? I'm just sharing what I think. And this one comes from, his name is Dick. D-E-K. Is that supposed to be Dick? Your name's Dick? Well, Robin's name was Dick. Yeah, whatever. Let's get into this question. And thanks for watching my video. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you'll never miss another video. Also, consider pledging my Patreon. It helps keep the lights on. There's a link in the description box.
Stuff and a lot of different things about Gintoki's teacher and what really happened and all of that stuff. Very, very tragic. So, for better or worse, Gintama is just a legendary series, and it's sad again. We're witnessing the end, you know what I'm saying? I think throughout my run on YouTube, it's just been one legend after another, and you guys have been with me, especially the people that have been here from the start or close to the start or quite a few years now. Y'all been on this roller coaster ride of, yeah, we got brand new bad boys on the block like My Hero and Black Clover and Promised Neverland and all of these really awesome series that we've seen. But then we've also had to really put to bed a lot of our personal favorites, of course, Naruto, the Bleach, you know, a lot of different Reborn, a lot of series Beelzebub have come and gone, and you know, just Tokyo Ghoul we lost just the other day, and yeah, another sad one. We're losing Gintama, 5-chapter countdown. I know a lot of people are going to be sad and depressed about this because even if you go on my anime list, Gintama is very, very highly regarded because it's just such a great blend of incredible funny comedy and very, very serious and well-told storytelling. So sucks. We're losing Gintama, people. Kind of curious how you guys feel about this. For people that are caught up, do you think they can wrap it all up in 5 chapters? What do you think they need to do left? I mean, I could totally see, and this is of course if Sorachi wants to, he probably doesn't want to draw no more. Any mangaka that, you know, has been doing this for this amount of time probably doesn't want to draw no more, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe either he writes it, somebody draws it or something, if they do have a spiritual successor to Gintama, whether via a spin-off or maybe Sorachi might want to come back and do a new series or something like that. Gintama's that type of series, especially just for the comedy portions. You could have it as a kind of weekly funny gag thing, even if it's just half the length or something like that. I would love it, maybe a spin-off of just Kagura. That's what I love about Gintama too. I think these characters can really kind of handle a comedy spin-off on their own, or you think just let it rest or whatever. Again, I'm not saying to continue the story because I think for the most part, a lot of the storytelling has been exhausted. We found out about the past of each character, you know, especially the main ones, of course. So I don't know about, you know, the and complex stuff that Gintama can get into if we could further, you know, go into any of that because it's kind of all been explored, but the comedy stuff still exists, so we'll have to wait and see. Your overall thoughts and feelings about this? It's a sad day, honestly. We lost a legend and now we're losing a legendary serial, but until after this one, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, hit the bell to get all notifications, and of course, check my other social media in the description below if you want to follow more. I'm from the world, and as always, people, have an awesome day, and remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Now, have an awesome day. You make a change and move flat for the hate. You don't give a fuck with the attack, stats. Paper rules, if you heard it, best believe that. Now it's 24 day, I'll be your favorite, but never
Joe Boy here. So, let's talk about Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 194. As always, this is the very latest chapter of Boku no Hero. If you have not read the very latest chapter, then do not watch this video. It will contain spoilers. So it looks like that we are back to, for however short it lasts, the schooly part of Boku no Hero. A large part of this chapter focused around reintroducing all the characters and their new costume designs, it being winter. And I gotta admit, at least for Class B, the costume designs this time around are so much better. Not that I really care all that much, but it just looks more professional. They look more like they're ready to become actual heroes. But again, just to be transparent and honest, guys, I still don't have an overwhelming reason to give a damn about Class B whatsoever. They've done things here and there, and they're not completely excluded from the story. But I don't really feel as though I have strong feelings about any of them, aside from Monoma and Tetsu. I just had to say that though. I think that's the first time I've ever said his name in a video. I guess I'll also throw a bone to Kendo as well, who's done quite a bit more, and I know a little bit better than Sebastian in this class. But I am really looking forward to Horikoshi giving us more about all the other various characters that he shows, but I don't really care about them here. But yeah, let's get into some juicier aspects from this chapter. We'll start off with a popular theory after the end of the last chapter. I was actually partially convinced myself when people brought it up to me because of the way Horikoshi drew the panel. There was some discussion, a possibility after the end of the last chapter, that when Deku encountered the original user of one ball, that when they touched their hands, he actually healed his hands and his arms of his injuries because we could not see the scars, or at least we couldn't see them clearly. But that seems definitively proven not to be the case in this chapter, because one, Deku doesn't bring it up in although this was something that was convincing us through the end of the last chapter, if Deku does heal his hands, I want it to be a bit more dramatic than this dream, an apparition of the power healing. Seems kind of cheap. Going deeper into the last chapter and how it's related to this chapter, we learned that it's true, All Might didn't lie to Deku. He literally does not know what it is that Deku is experiencing. It's not something that he or his predecessor experienced. All Might did have an understanding of the presences and the forces within the power that he and Deku shared, but it never outright communicated to him like it did to Deku in the last chapter. So I guess this will continue to be a long-running mystery. It seems as though the only clue that we have at the moment is the idea of quirk singularity. Now this is a theory, and it suggests that over time quirks will continue to mix together and deepen, growing in strength and complexity with every new generation. Eventually quirks will develop to a point where nobody will be able to control them anymore. And in the last chapter, the vestiges of the original user of One for All have been long since past of singularity. But don't worry, you are not alone. And so All Might suggests a relationship between the singularity that the original user mentioned and quirk singularity, and I honestly have to agree. Right before the original user said this line, he said to Deku, it seems that you can only manage about 20% right now. And we also know that when it comes to One for All, it gets progressive. I think this is oddly similar to the idea of quirk singularity. Singularity, where quirks will continue to mix together and deepen, growing in strength and complexity to a point where nobody will be able to control it. I feel as if the original user implied this very same thing. You can only use 20% right now. We have long since passed the point of singularity, but it is alright. We are here to help you. Essentially, what I'm gathering from this conversation is that the original user is saying, Deku, it is not your fault that you cannot control the power at 100%. The fault lies with the idea or the theory of quirk singularity. It's becoming so powerful that it's almost impossible to control, or in this case, use. I think that we all know by now that All Might was a freak, that however his body worked, however everything added up, he was perfect for the power. And even if the power is continuously, still today, getting stronger, when he passes it on to Deku, maybe Deku's 100% would be even greater than All Might's 100%. Perhaps All Might could have used that power. But for a regular person, or for most anybody, it's just impossible. We have long since passed the point of singularity, the point in which you cannot control or use your ability. At least not at 100%. This has me thinking, guys, this almost seems as if it is an admission that Deku will never be able to use 100% of his abilities outside of very unique and individual circumstances. And I think that the original user also implied these unique or individual circumstances. Don't worry if we've passed the point of singularity, you can't control your ability, but you are not alone. It seems to me that the key to surpassing his body's limits is by further connecting himself to the vestiges of power within One for All. And this has me thinking, guys, and I'm going to bring this up. This is a theory for now, something that has somewhat bothered me. I've seen a really large YouTube channel cover this topic, but it wasn't really satisfactory to me. It's the idea that All Might's muscles grow spontaneously. He is not just a well-muscled man. We can see that as he was dying, he slimmed down, yet he had a muscled form. And a lot of people speculate that maybe it was stated, right, that All Might was quirkless, but maybe he did have a quirk that just wasn't usable without One for All first. But I have another idea now. Maybe it's possible that the reason why All Might's muscles grew is because he subconsciously tapped into the vestiges of power. I believe that this chapter implied pretty strongly that he is very familiar with them, but never directly communicated with them. That's the difference between All Might and Deku, which means that without communicating, perhaps he just simply used them to help him. When they say that you are not alone, Deku, maybe they can provide something. Perhaps that allowed All Might to create a body which could use the power. And that's Deku's next step. Now, I think that the popular criticism of this idea would be that even after All Might lost the ability to use One for All, he could still transform into his muscled state for a very brief amount of time. But I think that at the very least you have to recognize that his muscled form and One for All are connected in some way. The only thing here that you can say to the contrary is the possibility that his muscled form is nothing at all. It's not meant to be taken seriously or looked to in depth. Or the possibility that literally you cannot use his muscled form, period, without One for All, which just seems ridiculous to me. So my thought is that there's still a little bit of power within All Might, just enough to transform for a second. Not enough to throw a punch. Although truthfully, I cannot remember the last time that he actually transformed, even for a brief second. And that Deku's next step will be to figure out how to connect with the vestiges of the previous users to do the same thing. At the very least, I think that this makes some sense, because All Might is always painted as an intuitive genius. Essentially, he just knows what to do. He doesn't need to ask questions. He doesn't need any prodding. He just figured it out. All Might stated that he could use 100% of the ability immediately. Do you think that he was as muscular as he was when he finished immediately? Was he that big? Probably not. But could he perhaps immediately delve into the power of the spirit's vestiges within it? Maybe.
Fuck
But
what I
that's pretty
doing?
much all I want to say about that. Another thing which struck me as interesting from this last chapter was how Aizawa reacted to All Might and Deku walking together. Oh, you see your guys chummy. What this suggests to me is Horikoshi is setting up Aizawa figuring out that Deku has All Might's quirk. Eraserhead is an intelligent dude. If Bakugo can figure it out, I would not be surprised if Eraserhead could. He's seeing the unique relationship that they have. Also, looking at Deku's quirk and All Might's loss of his quirk, it makes you wonder. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the importance of Eraserhead figuring out the connection might be. Seems like a few characters know at this point in time. Also, looking at Deku's quirk and All Might's loss of his quirk, it makes you wonder. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the importance of Eraserhead figuring out the connection might be. Seems like a few characters know at this point in time. We have Bakugo, we have the principal, maybe a few others, maybe the nurse. But I imagine that there has to be a reason. But as this was happening, we can see Eraserhead talking to Shinzo. And so, this has been set up for really long. I don't think anybody's surprised. Shinzo is likely to join a course, either A or B. And of course, most people think Class A. I like Shinzo a lot. I think aside from this, I like his abilities, I like the way that he looks, and his character. And I think it all adds up to a character that I want to see in the story. I want to see them do things and how they react. But I think most people right now should be focused on more of like the theory aspect of this. I think this has been discussed by a lot of different people, probably, if not, then I would be really surprised. But I think there's a common thought out there, and I share this as well, that Shinzo's powers are just stupidly perfect for finding out who the traitor of UA might be. If you guys don't remember, Shinzo's quirk is called brainwashing, and essentially, if he asks somebody a question while using his quirk and they respond to him, then he gets control over them. Now this is debatable, but if Shinzo's quirk allows him to control people, perhaps they could allow him to force people to tell the truth. Now I want to make this clear, guys, we have not seen anybody really attempt to talk while controlled by Shinzo's ability. It's possible that Shinzo can only control the body, but he cannot control somebody's thoughts or words. So he could force them to say something, but he can't force them to tell the truth. Like pure control over the body itself. Make the lips move, make them say something that you choose, but you can't force them to say something that they choose. But I'd like to think that he could. I'd like to think that his capabilities are directly in the hands of Horikoshi. And so if Horikoshi wants to, Shinzo could be the key to discovering who Rat is, who the traitor is. And maybe that's why Eraserhead has been tempted to allow him to join a hero course. Or maybe Shinzo himself demanded to be admitted to a hero course if he followed along with their plan. Either way, I feel like Horikoshi is a man of plan. When it comes to the Class A, specifically, the members were hand-picked. He designed their characters and their powers. But for some reason, Shinzo was not immediately a part of Class 1A, but is being admitted later. And it seems just like a roundabout way to go about it. Why not just make Shinzo one of Class 1A immediately? And I wonder if it's because Shinzo is some kind of plot device. Horikoshi needs his powers, but specifically wanted to delay having those powers act on members of Class 1A until the moment was right in order to avoid any sort of inconsistency or plot hole. Either way, guys, I expect big things from Shinzo. I don't think that Horikoshi would not have all of this story revolving around him, especially the crazy amount of foreshadowing dating all the way back to the very beginnings of My Hero Academia, if Shinzo doesn't have a huge part to play. So now it's really, what will that huge part be? Aside from simply being a member of the class. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I had to say about this chapter. As always, curious as to what you guys think, whether you agree with anything that I say, you disagree, just share your thoughts. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. If you enjoy various type of fighting style, from capoeira to karate to
and everything in between, this will be for you. If you like history's mightiest disciple, Kenichi, this will be up your alley. I do recommend picking up the manga for it, because eventually the anime kind of fall on its face with a terrible ending, but the manga definitely thrived where the anime fell short.
橋渡ってんのこの俺じゃねえか俺たちだ俺たち分かった分かった
Chaotic mess to describe. Imagine Gurren Lagann mixed with Eureka 7 Happy Gun, right? Works cleaning up the...
Now don't we look like shit? How you been, man? Ain't seen you in a while. Look at this.
Samurai snapped when he looked at her. Yeah. Number 7. Nadia. Placed by episodic anime or season that just get alternate endings. It's a good watch with a fun lead. At number 6, we have Armed Librarian's Book of Ventura with Melody. That's not grim at all. Cemetery is guarded by a librarian with psychic powers who must protect the book from a religious society who wish to take over. Melody is a trainee librarian, and she's awesome. Try out this anime. It's fairly unknown, and I think you'll be quite satisfied with the show. And that's good enough for me. Oh, that's the racist thing I said so far. And it was on that day, with the lack of cultural knowledge, started off the World War III. But hey, for any social justice warrior out there who don't count him off as black, that's why I also included Samurai 7, Kanbei Shimada. That one has to count for sure. In either case, you gotta pass Samurai with a lot of melatonin in their blood, so take your pick.
3年前に知り合ったエジプトの友人アブドゥルだ
Season 8 company doing a criminal who just keeps breaking out the betrayal. Also the black protagonist.
And a fellow work that expand your camp by scavenging resources or mining raw materials the old-fashioned way.
kind of Look what I'm moving